Hello YouTube, it's Carlos the Rook, and I'm bringing you a second game that I played against Dina. As I told you in the last stream, I was in a Russian chess school. They did a 7-day free trial, and so I went on and paid for the monthly membership. Alright, so in this game, I start off with e4. She responds c6. We going into Karo Khan defense again. d4, taking the center. d5 contesting, and I go e5 pushing pass. She goes bishop f5, and I go h4. This is the tile variation. Last game, she played c5 against me, and this time she did something different. She played h6, which the engine say is a book move, but that's still not the correct move in the position. The best move is h5. So I go g4, hitting at the bishop. Most people go back bishop h7 here, and then it's bishop d3, bishop captures d3, queen captures d3, e6. Let me just show you. Most people fade back here, to which the move is, hold on, to which the move is here. They take here, here, here. And then the threat is queen to g6, checking the king and losing the castle rights. So instead, Dina played bishop to e4, threatening the rook. So I go f3 to protect it. Now she moves back to h7, and I go e6, hitting the pawn. Now the correct move here is queen d7, and then when I capture, she can capture back with the king. But she takes the pawn, which you see is an inaccuracy. The best move, queen d6. Take, king take, knight to f4. Bishop, the pawn to f4. And so that's correct. The knight will come out here, here, here. I think it's bishop here, check, here, here. Hold on. Let me look at it now because that's what I remember from memory in this line. But the chess.com engine saying they don't like that. All it wants bishop h3. The bishop go this way. H5, that ain't the line ChessBase gave me. So that's the one thing about ChessBase, the Stockfish 18 and Chess.com engine is different analysis. So ChessBase gave me a whole different line. So back to the review. So I go bishop d3, challenging the bishop. She trades, I trade back, and now I got the idea of the threat of queen g6, losing the castle rights. She come up with the knight, that's inaccurate. e5 was the best move in the position. And here I played queen g6, check, and that wasn't the best move. What the engine wanted me to do is slowly develop and just keep that check in the background for later on. Develop, bring more pieces out, and then I can always check when I have to. And just maybe develop the knight here, the bishop here, cross castle, get the other knight in the game, and then issue the check, but the king is not going anywhere. And if the king step into f7, that's even better. They done lost the castle rights, and how's this bishop going to get developed? So she moves the king out, and here I go knight h3, and my idea is to bring the knight to f4 in order to hit this e6 pawn. She goes queen b6, threatening my d4 pawn. And so I took a minute to think here. I wasn't sure. c3 was my first idea. c3, protecting the pawn, and going ahead with my knight f4 idea. But I wasn't sure if she had any c5 shenanigans. And then I get kind of loose on the queen side. So I fell back with the queen. The engine doesn't like that. It wants knight f4 anyway. And now she's bringing her knight in. So I went a3 with the idea to stop the knight from coming into here. And the engine doesn't like that. It wants me to ignore that and just go knight f4. And now she goes rook d8. And her idea, I believe, is to manually castle the king. So I'll go ahead with knight f4, putting some pressure on that e pawn. And now she hits c5. Trying to get the c pawn, this e pawn some protection. I go c3. And the engine doesn't want that. It wants knight to g6. And the idea here is hitting the rook, rook g8, followed by b4, c4 hitting the queen, queen e2, queen captures d4 hitting the rook, c3, cementing the pawn structure. The queen goes back to b6, bishop e3 hitting the queen again, queen falls back to c7, bishop f4 hitting the queen another time. Oh my goodness. e5 blocking. The bishop gonna take that because it's protected by the knight. Now the queen has to move to b6. And this is what the engine wanted me to play. That's crazy. That's just crazy. And then from here I'm looking at bishop to d4, hitting the queen. The queen has to go back to c7. King to either f2 or d2 with the idea of bringing a rook to e1, putting pressure, more pressure on that pawn on e7. Then the rook will have to come to e8 maybe. And black's position looks really precarious. Oh shoot. I'm sorry. Where was I at? No. Hold on. Bishop d3. Take. I gotta move here. The knight. And I'll stop it. Knight f4. c5. So that's where we were. So I went c3. And now she goes king c8, getting her king to safety on the queen side of manual castle. And here I go queen e2. My idea is that hitting at this e pawn is doubled up and weak. She takes, I take back. And the reason I took back, I allowed that, is I want this pawn, even though it's isolated now, it was stopping the knight from coming over to c5. So no c5 shenanigans on the knight. And now I go bishop e3. Once again, the engine wants me to go with this idea of the knight here. And she brings her queen to the center. I go knight c3. And now she goes e5. Now when I went knight c3, I saw e5. And I felt like she couldn't do e5 because I had d captures e5, queen captures e5, knight g6, rook, forking the rook and the queen. But I missed a response she made, and she actually took this, and that's just wrong. Here the engine has me up 3.69. This is a completely winning position. And she goes queen g3 check, and the correct move is just bishop f2, hitting the queen. Bishop f2 blocks the check, hits the queen. There's no other checks. And the rook is free. The rook is just completely free. There's nothing she can do to stop it. But I had a minute 15 left. And so I panicked and played queen f2 instead. And I just gave away my advantage. So I'll show you, hold on. The best move. Bishop f2. The queen goes down to hit the rook. Cross castle. d4. Hit the queen again. Oh, the queen's trapped. The queen is trapped. Wow. Wow. I didn't even see that. She would have lost the queen. This is just completely went out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why do I keep doing that? This is where we were. Queen F2. So she captured the queen. I captured back. She moved the rook. And here I took the pawn. The engine doesn't like that. It wants me to move the rook over, lining up on the king. And she go e6, and the bishop opened up. And so my knight is really strong, but I was afraid that this bishop was going to come out to d6, from there to f4, and cause problems. So I just captured it and gave away all my advantage just about, because that was just a bad move. I traded a strong knight for a weak bishop, a bishop that haven't even moved yet. So she captures back. I cross castle. The engine doesn't like that. It just want me to move the rook to the c file. She moved the knight over. And her idea is b6, trapping with the bishop, and then king to b7, picking up the bishop. So I moved the bishop out. She hit it. I move it back further. This pawn's gonna fall. She take the pawn. The engine doesn't like that. I take a pawn back. She take, I take. And here is a drawn position, check. And here, the engine wanted me to just drop the rook down and trade rooks. That's what it wanted. That would have been best. That would have been, it's a drawn position. If I just drop this rook down, it's a draw. I move the king up. And now she doubled up the rooks that way. I drop it down now, which is late, because now my rook is pinned. The knight comes over that way. I come here trying to unpin. And I pin the bishop in order to free the rook. And here it's just losing. Hold on. She still had an advantage. This is completely losing. What the engine wanted was rook e1. Hitting that pawn. That's what the engine wanted. But I played king g3. And we go into a pawn endgame where she's up a pawn and my king can't really do anything because I can't stop both pawns. They're too close together. They need to be further apart, and then I could take one and then run back and be in the square of the other one. So two pawns close together like this, I can't stop. Because if I take this one, then that one runs and I'm out of the square. So my king is just froze. I dance a little, trying to see if she can make any mistakes. She doesn't. And here I resign. So once again, I end up playing Blitz and have a winning position against Dina, but I just crumbled when I got in time pressure. So maybe next time I do better and come home with the win. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends and family about it. And let's grow the channel. Have a nice day. Bye.